Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, I'm going to be telling you guys about 15 must-know tips and tricks for PvPing in Red Dead Online. So, I am definitely not the best PvP player in Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto, whatever you want to call it. So if these tips will help me for a total noob, they should be able to definitely help you no matter what your skill level is, improve at PvPing in Red Dead Online. And this is great for free roam, it's great for showdown series, it's great for missions. This will literally help you in anything. And these are tips that I've seen on Reddit. Another YouTuber I saw, Feng Shui, actually did another similar video to this. I'm sort of going to be building off of it. So anyways, let's dive into it today and let's get it started. Our first tip today is actually how you can peek around corners without exposing yourself to the enemy. So take a look at this example right here. This is a pretty common situation where you and an enemy might find yourself around a corner, or one enemy might be hiding behind an object, and the only way normally in which you'd be able to fire at the enemy is if you completely exposed yourself. However, there's a trick in which you can actually get around that. For this, you want to hit left on the D-pad. And what this is going to do is actually change the camera angle of how you look over your shoulder, whether you're looking over your left or your right. And by doing so, this will actually change what you can see and where the reticle's location is. So now that you can see I've done this, I'm completely in cover. My friend Sorty that I'm shooting at right here said that he literally couldn't see me, but I could perfectly see him, and I was able to get a clean headshot and was able to safely take him out from cover. So this works from both directions. If the enemy is on your left, you would swap over to the left-hand side. If they're on the right, you would swap over to the right. So this is something that is incredibly useful. And if you're in sort of a stalemate with someone that might be in a position like this, you might just want to hit left on the D-pad, and that will actually allow you to completely change your camera angle, and you might be able to get the drop on them. The next tip I can tell you about is make sure your weapon reticle is set to simple. So there's actually three options here. None, which I don't recommend at all. Dot, which is exactly as it sounds, a dot. And then simple, which has the dot followed by a light white circle around the outside. So what does that light white circle mean? Well, that means that your bullets or your ammo could land anywhere within that white circle. So if you've been noticing that you've been aiming on someone's head or their body and you're thinking to yourself, why am I missing? Why am I not getting headshots here? Well, you might not be using the simple reticle. Now, if you have the simple reticle, you'll be able to tell when that sort of outside white ring ends up shrinking. And when it shrinks all the way onto the red dot, that's when you know precisely the red dot is where your bullet will land. So long story short, if you're not using the simple reticle, this might be a reason why you're missing shots, not hitting headshots, and it's just simply less accurate than you probably should be. Now, what changes that reticle? Well, it depends on a couple of things. The weapon you have, whether that's a rifle, repeater, revolver, pistol, and also number two, if you're moving or crouched. If you're crouched, that white circle is going to be smaller. It's also going to shrink faster, meaning you'll be able to get on target a little bit quicker. Again, it also depends on the weapon. If you're moving around, it's not going to fully center. So it's always best that when you want to line up your shot exactly, that you stop moving just for a brief second so that you can get 100% perfect accuracy. Now, another thing that I think you should adjust in the in-game settings menu is make sure that your dot size is on normal. Now, there's only two options here. It's default and small. I would not recommend having it on small. Like, I have really bad eyesight and I could hardly see small. So I know that that might not be the most effective one. The default dot is really not that big, and it can sort of get lost in like the background, or if someone's wearing red clothing, you might not be able to see exactly where you're shooting. So that's something you want to keep in mind as well. Now, getting back to something I was talking about earlier, crouching. Crouching is something you want to use in PvP. It really does make it harder for you to be hit. It sort of throws off the auto aim a little bit. Now, you don't necessarily have to crouch everywhere you go, but because people are primarily focused on hitting headshots in Red Dead Online, if you crouch right before you know someone's about to shoot, there's a good chance that they're going to completely whiff and miss you. So that's something that you can use to your advantage. Just crouch sort of every now and then, do it at random intervals, and it might throw off your enemy. Another thing you can do in the middle of combat is diving. So you can actually dive by hitting square while aimed in and pushing the left stick in a certain direction. Diving is going to throw off their auto aim, and it's also likely going to cause them to miss too. Now, the only problem with diving is you can only do so much of it before your stamina core eventually does run out, and then it will have to sort of regenerate on its own. So I would say don't dive like you're a fish out of water like 24/7. Just use it if you need to get to cover, or if you know someone's kind of wild with their shots and you have little health. It might be a way to save your life in sort of an emergency situation. Now, speaking of our stamina core, health and stamina actually will regenerate on their own over time. However, the one that will not regenerate on its own over time is Deadeye. The only way in which you can get your Deadeye core up is if you take provisions that actually increase it. So for this, I would recommend Fine Brandy, I would recommend gin, I would recommend cigars that you can buy from the general store. You're going to want to have these on your person so that you can use them quite frequently in order to refill that Deadeye, because as you know, Deadeye is one of the best things you can use in online. Even though it doesn't necessarily have like the same time slowing effects as single player, there's still a ton of perks that you can get by using Deadeye in combat. Another thing you can do if you find yourself in a tough situation is actually tackling the individual. So if you find yourself either out of ammo, or you have to reload, or maybe you're just in a tough spot where you're not really too sure what to do, if you have none of your guns or any lasso equipped, you can actually go up and tackle an individual. And from there, you can subdue them. You can actually, basically punch them out, or it will just give you the chance to recover and maybe sort of build up your health a little bit while you get ready back for the fight. Or in an instance like this, when you're tackling someone to the ground, maybe your teammate or one of your posse members can actually take them out on the ground too. That's something I just sort of thought of, is it's kind of a way in which you can set your teammate up for a really easy kill by tackling someone to the ground. I've talked about this in previous videos, but another control you guys want to change is your third person and first person aim acceleration and dead zone. You want to turn acceleration all the way up, and you want to turn dead zone all the way down. What this is going to allow you to do is snap to people a whole lot faster, and it means you won't feel like that lag when you move your thumbstick left and right. The lower you have dead zone, the snappier it's going to feel, and the faster, the higher you have acceleration, the quicker you're going to be able to jump from target to target. Those are just two simple changes that I would recommend making, and it's going to make your life a whole lot better when interacting with other players. Now, another change you can make, and I found this very helpful for me and anyone else that has bad aim. So on your lock-on mode, you have a couple different options: normal, narrow, and wide. Now, free aim is going to have no lock-on. Normal is what you start with. And as you guys can see here, with normal, if you're looking in the somewhat general direction of the person, it will lock onto them, but it's pretty easy to miss. Like just looking at the edge of this window, you can see that it doesn't lock on. However, if we change that to wide, you can see that if we look really at any part of the barn, that I'm ending up locking on to Sortie. So this is way helpful if you have really bad aim, because it will instantly lock on to that person, which is really nice if you're in a TDM or you're in a deathmatch or you're just in free roam where you might not have the snappiest aim. This will really help you recover. The only downside to this is it's gonna lock on to people. Like, it's like a super strong magnet. So it's something you do sort of have to be careful with. But once again, it's really great if you don't have amazing aim, certainly like I do. I really don't have the best aim, and this has helped me out a ton. Another thing you guys should do is upgrade your ability cards. So this is something that I think a lot of people overlook, not only utilizing the ability cards, but upgrading them too. I know it's expensive to get it done, but it's something I think you guys should totally invest in, because the perks you get for doing this are insane. And the quicker you get these upgraded, the bigger of an advantage you're going to have on players who don't have them upgraded, or maybe don't have all the ability cards ready at their disposal. Like, seriously, the advantages these ability cards give you is nuts. So utilize them and upgrade them as often as you can. Something I've also been preaching in other videos, use the expanded minimap. This will allow you to see players well before they can probably see you in the world. So having that expanded minimap on is going to give you a huge advantage. It takes a little bit of getting used to the fact that it's bigger in the bottom left-hand corner, might take up a little bit more of your screen, but honestly, it is so worth it. The level of detail you get is just way better. Something else that you should do, especially because the auto aim is so strong in Red Dead Online, is you need to aim even if you can't see someone. So again, my friend Sorry here is hiding in the bushes and I can't even see him. In fact, he's not even a blip on my expanded radar. He's just like that sort of red part at the top. But if I aim in his general direction, I'm able to lock onto him. And because of that, if I were to fire right there, I would have an easy kill because he probably isn't aiming on me because he doesn't see me on the minimap yet. And we can't even really see each other due to the terrain and due to the way that he's hidden in sort of the trees and the bushes. So again, just aim at someone if you see them. There's a good chance that the lock-on is going to compensate for your lack of visibility or even the lack of an ability to see them all together. And our final tip today, this is one that can be applied from single player, but because now you're dealing with other players, it's kind of important. A lot of the weapons in this game, like the repeaters and the shotguns and the revolvers, and I am not a gun expert by any means, so I'm probably going to mess up like the verbiage here, but after you fire a shot, you want to have the ability to like instantly fire again. Like you're going to have to pull the lever, or you're going to have to pull the hammer back, or you're going to have to pump another shell in with the shotgun. And a way in which you can do that is to lightly tap on the right trigger or let go of the left trigger and hold the left trigger again. This will reload another round, another shell, another bullet into the chamber so that you're ready to pull the trigger and fire again. Just due to the lack of automatic weapons and pistols in Red Dead Online, it's something that a lot of people I don't think are quite used to just yet. And if this is something you can master, it means you'll be able to fire a lot quicker and get shots off a lot faster, which will clearly give you an advantage. But anyways, that right there is 15 must-know PvP tips and tricks that I think will make you a better player in Red Dead Online. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Do you have any other tips or tricks that you think would be useful and interesting for other people to know? Let us know in the comments down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.